Hi, folks. Thanks for joining us today. Sorry about the technical glitch. I know there was a bit of difficulty getting on the live stream, but we're finally here. And one of the questions I'm going to pose to you right out the gate is why voice over IP? Why communications in a business? We're joined by Mark from TelNet Worldwide. Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Dave, nice to see you again. How are you doing?
So, Mark, you're from TelNet Worldwide, and I know TelNet Worldwide because we speak to you quite a lot. But tell us who TelNet Worldwide is and what is it that you do?
Yeah, TelNet Worldwide is a facilities-based communications carrier. We're over 25 years into the business, and we bring to market a full stack of the things that take to empower businesses' connection to communicate. So, from the infrastructure that they need, from the networking to the applications that they run in their business to create the telephony solutions and tech solutions that they have.
So, there's a lot of words in there, and I know a lot of folks who watch these things. It's like, what does that mean? Because a lot of guys are not technical.
Yeah,
Now we all know what VoIP means.
yeah.
Now, if you're asking me and my kind of technology background, I know what you're talking about. But when you talk about VoIP, everyone understands it's voice over IP and a telephone.
Right.
Um, that is not only what you guys do. You guys are so much more than that, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Voice over IP transformed our world, right? The ability for a business to now collect their their platform from the cloud is empowered by a voice over IP based world. So voice over IP has transformed the way communication gets done. And one of the really important parts about it over these last few years in particular is that it's brought to bear the most powerful technology and made it accessible to businesses of any size. It's more like the democratization of the cloud has really created a democratization of technology, and the VoIP datagram underneath there really is the thing that kind of brings that to the table.
You mentioned some things there that I actually wanted to ask you about. Is we know that communications is changing. We know that. And we know that the way that businesses communicate is changing and at a very rapid pace. How, if I'm a new business and I come to you and I say, Mark, I need something in place where I can have a communication platform that benefits not only me as the company, but my clients. What is your opinion on the changes in communication from, say, 5 years ago to where we are going to be in another 5 years' time?
Yeah, great question. The, um, the first thing that we look to do in terms of the answering that question, Dave, is we're really in the business of understanding the journey that the customer or our MSP partners are on. And our job is to really meet you where you're at, so everybody's dealing with how their communication infrastructure is is embodied. Maybe it's a premise-based system and they're trying to figure out how to get to the cloud. So the first job is really to meet you where you're at. What are the problems? How can we help right there? And there's a lot of ways to help and to shore up where somebody's at, and then build that path, that bridge over to where they're looking to go. So it's like that planning. Hey, where does the future look for you, as you indicated? And in there, sometimes getting to that nirvana or that Shangri-La idea that what you're looking for is not a one step process. So we look to say, well, okay, if we're starting here and we're looking to go there, here's how we can make that happen. And it's a beautiful thing. It's really about, once again, meeting you where you're at, solving those problems of today, and then plowing that future towards the vision that you see for tomorrow. And we help people bridge that gap.
You mentioned cloud, so I understand understanding where the client's needs are. I get that part. And you mentioned cloud a few minutes ago. Does Telnet focus primarily on cloud operations? Now, I know the answer to that, but I'm asking you because our audience doesn't know that. So, does it focus primarily on cloud operations? And do you see a change to everything going to cloud in the next coming years?
Great question. The way we look at it, Dave, is that it depends on the enterprise. So the cloud is going to be a great solution for the vast majority of people. I do believe that it secures the high ground for the vast majority of companies because it brings incredibly powerful technology that would be quite complicated and expensive to host that in your own environment.
Sure.
With that being said, there are businesses, healthcare, like large hospital systems, large banking, where they have the ability and so forth to work with the platforms in their prem, in their data centers, and so forth. So once again, we're privileged to be able to work with companies of all these sizes and to meet them how they need to get empowered. So if it's the connectivity that they need to get to the phone network or to the internet, we'll meet them there. Or if they want to reformat to the cloud, we've been doing it for thousands of businesses. We've had the privilege.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there, and that is why TelNet is such a valuable partner, because you guys have taken that exactly what you just said, and you're international, right? You're not just local to the United States, you're international, correct?
Well, we can reach everywhere, but our sales activity is predominant within the United States. So our sales distribution channels are here. But if you had an office, if you're a headquarters, if you're a multinational and you're headquartered in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and you have offices in London or in Florida, we'll make sure that we can connect those things together.
And I think that's the key takeaway here, is that you're not just restricted to the United States. So if I need you and I need your services in Canada or wherever it may be, that is expandable, because that is something that is very valuable to clients, is knowing that a provider like yourself can accommodate that expansion. And that's one of the things I did like about your company, is that is 100% an option for anyone who reaches out to you and potentially uses your services, which is really cool. I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually one of the powers of the cloud. And once again, I think
Yeah.
it's important. Our primary domicile is in the United States, and so we'll once again meet the customer where they're at. If they have needs that take them outside the United States, we'll make sure that they have the resources to get them there.
Fantastic. Let's go back a little bit. So, we Telnet is a company named TelNet Worldwide. Tell us about how the company name came about and a bit about the history of the company.
Sure. Telnet was founded. I founded Telnet in 1998. So my background, I'm an engineer by my education, and I'm a geek. I like technology, and I'm an entrepreneur by passion, trying to look for innovation and ways to solve problems. So in 1998, it presented a unique time in the United States, in particular, with the opening up of markets for competitors. And in my prior work, I just saw there was a huge gap. The internet was just starting to take shape, and competition really didn't exist. So it was a great time for an entrepreneur to enter into the market, look at technology and how to bring it to people who otherwise couldn't find it, would not be accessible to them. So that's part of what makes us quite pleased and proud and inspired, is to make things accessible to people. And that continues today, because as time has gone by, we continue to stand on the shoulders of the past performance. And as we move, and we talked about earlier about formatting to the cloud, well, it brings in new opportunities, but those opportunities come with their degree of complexity if you really want to make sure you get the good value out of it. So in a sense, we're continuing to do the same things: is how to make sure we can to deliver the value. How do you create value for a customer, and how do we make sure that we get that to them?
Awesome. I love the history. I love the story. Mark, one question I did want to ask you is, you obviously deal with a lot of clients across the United States and a lot of other places as well.
Mhm.
For the MSP community out there, what should MSPs be looking at when they consider using a provider like yourself?
Great question. Um, one of the things here that we've had the privilege to work with many MSPs is that the MSP is right there where the rubber meets the road. They're an incredibly important um, ability to, once again, manifest these types of solutions for businesses. They need somebody to help them get there. So if you look at the business applications that a company is running and an MSP has been charged to help support, whether it's their networking services, but their business applications like Office 365, um, voice, when we go to the cloud, voice services becomes an application. It is now an application you can turn on versus a platform you have to go and acquire. So as an MSP, if you're looking to provide a greater attack area of what you can help that client address, the business communications is essential, because
Yeah.
I don't know of any business that exists that can't make and receive a phone call or get in and out of the internet. Those are essential. They're like the oxygen in the room. You take those away, it's kind of hard to see that. So our goal is to look at those business communication applications and to help empower them for the end user customer, and to be the right ally to the MSP in ensuring that the promise of it is being kept.
I think I agree with you about everything you just said, but one of the things I did pick up on, which I actually liked quite a lot, actually, was where you said, MSPs, they hit the rubber on the road. They're the frontline workforce, right? But
Absolutely.
also that without internet or communications, like you said, take oxygen out the room, right?
It takes it's right on, yes.
Yeah, I like that. I like that phrase. Let me ask you this. With the history of the company when you first started, you said that the company was starting and it was kind of the birth of the internet and things were still getting, going. If you have to think back to that time period when the internet was still growing, as you want to call it as that, to where we are now, how did companies back in the day even survive without the internet? That's like, you can't even comprehend that anymore.
Well, yeah, that is yeah, that it's a progression, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
like anything in life, you take advantage of what the tools that are technology that are available at that time. So yeah, it was a different time and place, how you procured it, how you used it, what you could afford. It would all, and that was really about one of the goals to doing Telnet, is make it more accessible. So if you wanted to get broadband internet, well, there's a lot of regulation and government and investment things that you need to plow the lane to start to make these things more accessible. And that's one of the things that we're quite proud as about Telnet, is that at the end of the day, we're delivering meaningful solutions to help businesses connect to their customers. That's why they need a phone. That's why they need a communication system. They want to communicate with their customers. But then if you peel that back and you go under the covers, our company is very much at the forefront of working with government industry alliances, and how the regulatory bodies are working, how the standards communities are working, how the best practices are coming together. And since the start of the business, we've been in the back shadow, so to speak, helping getting these policies going. And today, when we get together, Dave, with our partners and customers, we have what we call a AAA policy. The AAA policy is, one is to create awareness. Is there something going on in regulation that you need to know about? So like, for example, right now, SMS has a
Hmm.
whole new regime regarding campaign registry, and we've been involved in that for at least 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure people are aware. The second part of that AAA is about action. So if there's something that you need to do as an MSP or as the business, we'll give you the playbook about, hey, these are suggested best practices. And then the third piece of that is advocacy. So advocacy is like, well, who has your voice at these tables, at the government, at the FCC, or whoever these bodies are? And we seek to bring those advocacy points out to those organizations as well. So you asked the question about how do you go from where the internet didn't exist to where we are today? Well, it's a lot of that work right there about how do you cultivate the ecosystem. Uh,
And
and
And that's why I asked that question. So for our MSPs and anyone who's watching this, that question is to show you that Telnet is not just a company who's been around for a year or two. From, as you said, Mark, when you first started the company where internet wasn't even a thing to where it is now, Telnet's been around, and your progression, you've stuck with the times, you've developed with technology, and you've grown and you're now at a position where you can support the needs of your clients in communications. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other services that we haven't even spoken about. So that's why I asked that question. We're pretty much out of time here, Mark. But before we did close, I wanted to give you an opportunity to have any closing comments to the audience. So is there anything that you'd like to say to the audience in closing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks so much for giving me some time today to visit with you. We just love this business. It's a passionate thing. We're continually looking to work with people who need an ally that they want to be in there in the trenches, because this stuff is not easy, right? I mean, it's a challenge, and so who you partner with and how you're able to have a relationship with them that that we can work and grow together. It means everything. So that's what we first and foremost stand out for, is to be that trusted partner, that trusted advisor. Um, and what we want to make sure that we're working together on is that ultimately it's like this win-win-win a relationship. The businesses that we have the privilege to serve, they need to come out ahead. They need to make sure that they came out better because of how we worked with them. And our partners that we are looking to make sure they win, and we're seeking to continue to champion our next new day. So we work very much on the right to win. We look to talk to our partners about the right to win. How do we frame that brand promise about the right to win? And we stand here to think about that as being how we take all the incredibly cool things in technology, but delivering value and knowing that when opportunity knocks, you have a right to win.
Mark, thanks so much for the time. Thanks so much for your insight. Thanks so much for the background of the company. This is why you are such a valued partner. And I hope any MSPs or anyone who's watching this, if you want to connect with Mark, please connect with him on LinkedIn, or through the website, which will be down below in a second. Have a look, see if there's something that appeals to you or something that you can use, and reach out to them and just have a chat with them. Mark, thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate your insight, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
All right. Same to you, sir. Take care.